Geico Underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Business owners of Escambia and Santa Rosa counties, listen to this important message.
This is Jeffrey, the marketing consultant for ESPN, News Radio 92.3, and Talk Radio WEBY. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people just like you increase their business traffic and drive revenue into their doors. My service works. I design creative, attention-getting commercials that get results. It works for them and will work for you. I know what you're thinking. No one listens to commercials, right? Well, you just did. Call me, Jeffrey, 262-6000.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
What's going on, guys? Jordan Glass here. Join myself and Davis Allen for Sports Call every Saturday morning starting at 11 a.m. going to 1 p.m. right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Welcome back. We continue. Art is calling next. Art, thank you for the call and good afternoon.
And thanks again, Paul. Now, see, I got you on this one. I think the term you were looking for is orgasmicness. And but you know what makes this show so great is, number one, is a lot of them don't know if you do get in, you've got this great thing going on with all kinds of wild sports talk. It's almost like a orgasmicness. But the other thing is that personal touch is really great because I barely get you. I want to know what animal you most represent. I mean, if we're going to go that route. It's almost.
Yeah, that's a very difficult.
The thing about it
What's
is that's personal, and so when somebody comes on, you allow it into your, that's the difference. That's what makes that show great.
Well, listen, you know my philosophy about the show, and I've repeated it.
Not 100%.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could do this forever. So, here I am.
Well, I see this show sometimes as a three-ring circus. I mean, you have the main tent, and then you have these side tents where things are going on that you have to. It helps if you've listened to the show before.
Right.
And there's always, I like a game within a game. That's the fun. That's the challenge of the show.
That's very excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Paul.
And speaking of the main event, I mean, when you go to a circus, you wait for the big act. And on this program, we wait for the biggest callers, and a Hall of Fame caller is up next. Legend is on the air.
What's up, Paul Feinbaum?
Legend! See, I know why you called. You heard us talking about Danny Sheridan.
Hey, I got personal information for his wife. Received that, so that's why he don't have that stash.
So Lenny Sheridan acts the porn stash?
Yeah, you can't have no porn star stash when you're married, Paul. That just don't fly, brother. I see some pictures of you. You had a porn star stash back in the day.
Very briefly, by the way. And it was only when I was starring in porn movies.
What was that name again?
Well, I don't think I can say the name on the air, but somebody said, would you like to earn some extra money? I said, sure. I said, it wasn't as glamorous as it sounds, Legend.
No, it never is, Paul. It never is. And talking about not as glamorous as it appears, let's talk about the Georgia Bulldogs for a minute, Paul.
Okay, here we go.
Because here's the thing. I'm so sick of hearing about the Georgia Bulldogs. It just gets ridiculous, Paul. Every year, from February to December, they're the best team in college football. Every year. It never fails. They got 7 all-pro offensive linemen, the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 running back, the number 1 recruits now, the number 1 coach. But here's the thing about Georgia, Paul. You know it, and I know it. They're going to destroy A&M. They're going to destroy Auburn. They're going to destroy Florida. But they're going to get all the way to Alabama and choke. You know why? Because they're not a closer. They're a poser. That's the fact of it's a Bulldogs, Paul. And I'm so sick of every year we hear the same thing every year, how great they are. The fact of the matter is they are the most overrated team in college football. I agree with one of your guests earlier because they are on the plane of championships and rings, and they keep settling for second best, Paul. And when you do that, what happens is you end up being a Utah Jazz instead of a Chicago Bull in history. And that's where the Bulldogs are in my eyes. They are the most overrated level 1 football program in the nation because, quite simply, we own them. That's the fact of the matter is you can call the Maury Show. Where's their daddy? They ain't never coming out of the SEC as long as Nick Saban is in Tuscaloosa, as long as we're getting 23 of the top 150 ESPN. Georgia is always going to be the bridesmaid in this evaluation, and I'm so sick of it. Yeah, they're better than Florida because Florida ain't recruited as good as they have. But when they get to Alabama, they are a poser and not a closer, Paul. That's just the fact of the matter. And, hey, Paul, let me say this from my heart. We kick it hard as fans. We go at each other hard, trash talk hard. But from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sorry to the Auburn Nation, Rob Ramlett and his wife died. We lost a great voice in the SEC. I'll never forget it. It's still in my mind. It haunts me to
Legend,
this day.
That word. Thank you so much.
Welcome to Sherwin-Williams.
So I can get 30% off paint?
Yes.
And 30% off stains?
You bet.
Party time!
Yeah!
Oh, party time, the color. I'd like 3 gallons in party time, please.
You got it. Ask Sherwin-Williams May 17th through June 3rd and save 30% on paints and stains with sale prices starting at $26.94. Only at your local Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
The weather's heating up, which means it's the perfect time to get that next job done. At AutoZone, we have the free services you need to do it right. Like our AutoZone Rewards program. Sign up is free, and you get a $20 reward every time you spend $20 or more 5 times. Looking to protect your engine and start that oil change? Get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX high mileage motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $26.99. With more than 5,600 locations nationwide, getting the job done just got easier. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and are behind on your monthly payments, you need to make this free call right now. 800-428-4187. When you call the Stop Debt Hotline, you're taking the first steps for help. Debt specialists are part of a real team who will help you with all of your options. You could stop the collection calls and letters forever by calling the completely confidential toll-free number right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can handle your debt forever. Imagine no more late nights and no more debt. Don't try to face your creditors alone. Call the Stop Debt Hotline right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. Get free information now by calling the Stop Debt Hotline. 800-428-4187. Non-attorney spokesperson paid for by Debt Resolution Helpline. 102 Northeast 2nd Street, number 183, Boca Raton, Florida, 33432.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
Hit ignition.
And then?
And then nothing. Ha 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 ha. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite.
Look out! Look out!
And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golic and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to Talk Football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Taking a look around Major League Baseball, the Pirates beat the Reds 7-2. The Yankees blanked the Padres 7-0. And the Angels win a wild one 12-7 over the Oakland Athletics, with Detroit beating the Orioles 4-2 and Tampa Bay coming back to beat the Blue Rays 4-3. For the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, the Blues tie the series up at 1 game apiece in a thriller, winning 3-2 in overtime in Boston. And coming up later on tonight in the NBA, Game 1 of the NBA Finals gets underway. The Golden State Warriors look to win their 4th NBA championship in the last 5 years, but the Toronto Raptors are standing in their way. For your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, unfortunately, they do come up short tonight against the Mississippi Braves. Don't worry, they'll be back at it again later on tonight. 6:35 is when first pitch is expected. Chris Gargiolo will have the call right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update.
Those up the middle. At the 30. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 29. 20. Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks. The dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Noah Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WNBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That open He's up the door, breaking the Kendricks tackle to the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brilliante. Glad to be with you here. As no, I did not get dressed for the occasion. I do love you all out there, but for the people watching today on TV, I had a couple business meetings, had to look appropriate, had to shave this morning. Tried to do the drive shave, and now if you tried that, it would be excruciating pain right now. That would be that would be like, you know those YouTube videos, like most exciting plays in college football, like most excruciating pain would just be watching a bunch of guys with like mountain men beards trying to dry shave. Yeah. But was doing that today. Did not feel good. Cut myself a few times. But I'm also 34 years old. There's no excuse. I'm not a kid. This isn't like 14, and Pop's trying to teach you how to shave there. Not that I was growing facial hair at that time, but it sounded cool. Looking, though, at the day, I had a good day, a couple good meetings, and we're moving in the right direction. Got a lot of things brewing as high school football, UWF football, Florida State football, a lot of things right around the corner, and we're excited to be home. Looking at Mike Martin, speaking of Florida State, about to get, he's been around the block. He's almost got his AARP card of just baseball. Think about that. To just put it into perspective. The hover around commercials with the granny. He's made it again to the College Baseball World Series. A shot. He's now in the tournament, the NCAA tournament, and has a shot to make that trip. He's out in Athens, Georgia, and it's going to be pretty tough. Got some good teams. They'll be taking on FAU, the Owls. No Lane. Maybe Lane Kiffin will show up. Yeah, no, probably not. He probably doesn't make that.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly. But when it comes down to the game, they didn't have the best of seasons. But who knows in baseball? You had Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, winning a couple years ago. You had teams out there that we've never even heard of make it all the way to a College Baseball World Series. You have about 50 of those teams out of California, the Irvines, Santa Barbaras, the Banana Slugs of the world, the Anteaters. Those teams always dirt bags. Long Beach, you had a couple teams out there named the Dirt Bags. And you know what? They've made a good run. But at the end of the day, baseball comes down to doing the little things right at the right time. And Florida State has the athletes. They've had the J.D. Drews, the Buster Posies, the guys over the while. I was watching DJ Walker get called up yesterday, and huge slugger. Looks like one of those bad guy villains in the movies. I'm going to crush you, kid. Bruh! Like Rookie of the Year. Oh, no, it's him. It's rolling up the sleeves, that kind of stuff. And, man, I'm telling you what, he's that kind of guy that he's going to have a good career, and hopefully Baltimore can use him. But they always have great players. And, Jordan, Mike Martin is a coach that it would just be so apropos. It'd be so just, after 40 years of so many great teams, to find a way to win it now. In the turn where a lot of people say, well, he sort of got into the tournament because of his status, and they were borderline. They might have taken a spot from our fake national champions and my alma mater, the UCF Knights. But you know what? That's okay, because you want the best teams to get in, and Florida State's obviously got more appeal. They've got more of a storyline, and it should be fun with Georgia's the number 1 seed when they head out and play tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Yeah, I think one thing to keep an eye on with this is the fact that Florida State, like you mentioned, they do have the athletes. They're actually a good team. They struggled this year, and yes, they might have gotten in a little bit because it's Mike Martin's last year. That might have played a factor in why they were selected, but they are still a good quality team, and if a team gets hot at the right time, we've seen them make runs throughout the regional, then the super regional, into the Omaha. Could they win it all and ride off into the sunset with him on their shoulders? I doubt it, but if they do, that's definitely a great storyline.
So Big Papa Mike talked about the game, or known as Mike Martin, talked about their we're just why not? Big Papa right there. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. We love it when you call me Big Papa.
When you go on the road for a regional, there's no doubt that the home team has the advantage. I mean, we know because we've been blessed to host regionals, but you still got to just be of the same attitude that you have been all year long, and that's go out there and make the other team beat you. Don't beat yourself, and that's what we're hoping that we can do, is just make the other team beat us.
That was Mike Martin talking about the game. As he said, you got to make the other team, when you're on the road, you got to find a way to make the other team beat you, and got to go. I mean, that's a pretty cliche answer, but it's also the truth. When you're on the road, you can't make the first mistake. You cannot let the team get excited. You got to find a way to punch them early. Come out swinging. That's why, as an underdog, if you're the David and you're going up against Goliath, you have to come out swinging. That's why you see those teams like Wofford and some of those teams in the NCAA tournament start to jack it up, getting the crowd excited. You knew when they were taking on a Kentucky that they didn't have the athletes, but the excitement, the energy levels, you see that a lot of times in March Madness. The first 5 minutes, it's a real close game. And then all of a sudden, the better team starts to play out, and they end up winning by 5 or 6 points, when it could have been, if the good team comes out and they take a 30-15 lead, it's curtains. You're never going to see those Liberties of the world have a chance down 15 at halftime to come back and beat those teams. That doesn't work that way. But if they can, they're up 4 at halftime, it's going to be a good one. And then they end up losing. Looking at some of the other stories going on here in Quick Hitters, Phil Mickelson. Well, Bubba Watson sent him a video, I wish I had your calves. That's all about the calves and how he's hitting it. Bubba's been hitting the sweet spot right there. Hopefully not too much of his candy at the sweet spot. He's got to get ready for the U.S. Open here.
But man, those Rice Krispie treats are good.
They got some classic, extraordinary flavors of ice cream, too. I mean, like Mountain Man pistachio. I wasn't sure what was happening there, but it was. Beard, That's right, Fear the Beard, right there. It was some really good concoctions. I think I, ate something that Northern Ireland goose flavor was delicious. Oh, it had the beak inside and a little crunch to it. But looking at every time you eat it, that's how you feel like in your stomach. Phil Mickelson, though, responded to Bubba Watson. Man, Phil's been dropping some. Look at that. He came back to who was the country singer that walked up to him and said, "Dude, I want my $40 back."
I think was it Jake Owen?
It was Jake Owen. Yeah. So Jake Owen walks up to him, had a couple cervezas, and they're sitting there at a wedding. It was Jordan Spieth's wedding in Texas. And he's like, "Dude, bruh, you got to give me my $40 back." And I'm not sure if Jake Owen talks like that. That's very disrespectful. Bruh. But he said, "You need to give me your $40 back for pretty much ruining what was you and Tiger sitting out there." They didn't really, I don't think they fully understood that sports today works a lot better when you pan out to things. There's a reason commercial breaks are there, things like that are going on. And just walking down the fairway when golf is only, after about the 4.5, 5 hours of coverage that night as it got dark out in Las Vegas at Shadow Creek, there's only about 15 minutes tops of real golfing. The rest of the time is Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods jollying around with really two not great personalities. It would have been a lot more fun with Bubba Watson breaking out his hover round, maybe jumping out into golf boys with all the guys. It was none of that. It was pretty much them just walking sort of away from each other, too, because they both wanted $9 million. And it didn't go over as planned. People paid for it, and then they actually screwed up on the pay-per-view payment, so they had to give everybody back their money, or they gave it to everybody for free, so they screwed the whole entire thing up. My brother was down. It was during Thanksgiving weekend, and my brother works for the Golf Channel. That was his excuse. But he was glued to the whole thing. "Mom, I can't do any chores. I can't help you guys with anything. Can't help with Thanksgiving dinner. Just watching." And then he was like, "Oh, my gosh, it's blowing up here." And, I'm like, "What's going on, man? I'm trying to help Mom, over here with this goose ice cream." And all of a sudden, we look over, and he's like, "Oh, my God, they have to give everybody their money back. They're screwing this up." And he had a story at the Golf Channel the next day, and which is ironic because the show he does is the Grey Goose 19th hole. But let's get off this goose thing here. We're goosenecking this. So let's go to the next biggest thing was, Tiger Woods is obviously polarizing, but not just to walk up the fairway with Phil Mickelson. But Phil's been on fire since Jake Owens was like, "Bro, you need to give me back my 40." He goes, "Well, here you go. Here's one of these," which he handed him $100 of Benjamin Franklin right there. And he goes, "Don't worry, because I made 9,000 of these when I went out there and won. So you can take this one and go blank yourself. Because I got plenty more where this came from. And he was like, ooh, okay, well, I just made $100. That's how I would have thought it. But he just like, all right, you put me in the place. But he's been on a little bit of a tear lately. And this was Phil talking about his comeback to driving the ball and how he's been hitting the ball off the tee and needing to work on the game for the U.S. Open with his calves.
First time in a long time that I've used two drivers. As if one Epic Flash driver isn't enough, I'm going to use two. Well, why such a change of heart? Why am I doing this? Well, I saw a post of Bubba Watson hitting bombs without a shirt on. And he had bare chest hair. And I don't mean B-A-R-E chest hair. I mean grizzly bear, B-E-A-R chest hair. And thought, if I have to have that to hit bombs, I don't want to hit bombs. So I have a shorter driver where I can hit cute little cuts into the fairway. But then I realized that when I was not hitting bombs, my confidence was low, my self-esteem was low. Oftentimes I wouldn't want to get out of bed. And so when I started hitting bombs, my confidence shot back up, my testosterone came back, my overall attractiveness increased. And so I'm going to have a driver to hit cute cuts in the fairway and to hit bombs.
You know those commercials with Frank Thomas?
Yeah.
It sounds like a bad version of one of those.
Yeah. Not just bare-chested, grizzly bare-chested right there. They're having some fun. Look, golf needs a little spunk to it. They need a little of that flashy. The days of the knickers and just the days of just a certain audience watching, you're still going to have most of your big sponsors on those visors are going to be investment brokers and banking or high-end quality cars like Mercedes or BMWs. Not too many Geo Metro sponsors out there, but at the old Datsun, sponsor. But when it comes to El Camino, that'd be awesome, like a classic El Camino hat. But
I can see Bubba wearing that one.
Like the guy that took out Happy Gilmore in the Volkswagen. I will get you, shooter. But when it came down to Phil Mickelson having fun, it's good for the game of golf. I like them, poking, I guess you can say, the bear. Not that bear, but the bare-chested one. And I think it's good for the game. But, yeah, Phil, both of these guys could crush the ball in their prime. In a long drive competition, in their prime, they're both lefties. One's a little heftier than the other. Who do you think could hit the ball farther in their prime? Because I remember when Phil was first coming up, him and Vijay Singh and Ernie Els, once in a while, and they called him Big Easy for a reason. He had the most just classic easy stroke. Right. But when it comes down to Phil Mickelson, a couple of those guys like Vijay, those bigger guys, they could crush the ball once in a while. And I'm going to go with Bubba because of the speed of his swing. He actually led the tour in driving distance with J.B. Holmes. But that's a really tough one in their prime.
It is a really tough one, but I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Bubba as well. I think just like you said, the speed of his swing is the difference there. So, I'm going to agree with you.
Now, if we're just talking straight, grab a cigarette and crush the ball over Niagara Falls like he did, John Daly wins that battle right there. John Daly, grip it and rip it theory right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's the epitome.
Rip it and let the big dog eat. Yeah,
he's the guy that when you had the bush light on a golf course in those places like the one in Palm Bay, Florida, where I live called Joe Daddy's that had chain link fence next to a high school. The kids would throw things at me while I putted, but that was terrible. But at the same time, you look at a course that is John Daly opened up the door for the scene I can see where Shooter McGavin says, go back to your shanties with the balloons. And, that opened up John Daly brought that crowd to the table with what he did. Drinking a beer, smoking cigars and cigarettes on the course, saying that his diet is, he's really trying to get on a diet plan to just go with Diet Cokes now. He doesn't drink water. He's just going to drink Diet Cokes the rest of his life. Good for him. But, he was classic. John Daly every sport needs a John Daly.
Oh, yeah.
Whether he's going to be able to survive into his 60s, we'll see. But everybody needs a John Daly in the sport.
No, you're absolutely right. It makes the sport that much better. It's a guy. You look at baseball. Maybe a baseball equivalent of this might be like Yogi Berra. The Yogiisms and different things like that. And I think every sport. You're right. Every sport needs that wild card guy that everybody loves and everybody can rally behind, especially if it's a common person. Because here's the thing, especially with a sport like golf. The common person, it kind of, it's a gentleman's game. It's been a very proper game throughout its entire existence. So when you get a guy in there that's like Rodney Dangerfield's character from the Caddyshack. You know, it's nice to have a guy like that out there.
Or
on the
Ladybugs.
course.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good one right there.
Ain't get no respect.
I had a lot of thoughts in Ladybugs of one day wrecking a 11 and under women's soccer team. I'm just saying, if you haven't seen the movie, check it out. It's not one of his classics. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more Juwan Howard, emotional day from the Fab Five to being introduced as the Michigan Wolverines head coach, and Forbes' highest paid ticket price coming up here in 2019 for a college football game. I'm just going to let you know right off the gate right now, it was not Kent State and Eastern Michigan. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
Make new memories this summer at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Owning a Harley is easier and more affordable than ever because at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola, they say WTF. That's right, they are willing to finance. Bad credit, no problem. The Harley-Davidson experts will get you financed. Discover your inner child again with the freedom that owning a Harley brings. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
Don't attempt stunt portrayed in this commercial.
We have two skydivers about to jump from 10,000 feet above this sports stadium. The first jumper has a parachute harness attached with JB Weld epoxy adhesive.
Geronimo!
The second jumper's harness is attached with ordinary household glue.
Wait, what?
Geronimo! Ah! Don't worry, he has a backup chute. When strength really matters, don't glue it, JB Weld it. For metal, wood, plastic, and more. JB Weld, world's strongest bond. Available at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, and more.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golick and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to talk football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Available at Pep Boys.
Introducing. Nah, not big enough. It's the brand new. Nah, still not big enough. Introducing the brand new French-inspired topped with fresh fruit crepes lineup, only at Denny's. Yeah, that's better. There's the new banana chocolate hazelnut crepes, the banana berry caramel crepes, and the strawberry vanilla crepes, made with fresh strawberries, strawberry sauce, and vanilla cream. Fresh fruit, French, and delicious. Come try all three. See you at Denny's. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only.
Owner-operator truck drivers, have you been dreaming of getting out of your old rig and into the driver's seat of a brand new semi-truck? SFI Trucks and Financing is leasing semi-trucks for low to no money down and will work with almost any credit situation. Freightliners, Peterbilts, Kenworths, Internationals, and Volvos, all equipped with new technology and driver comfort features. Plus, our 24/7 maintenance support team will keep your truck running so your business can keep moving forward too. Learn more at sfitrucks.com. That's sfitrucks.com.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 tonight, and also on Blab TV. Tonight we do have the Pensacola Blue Wahoos who will be in action. Game 2 of their series against the Mississippi Braves. Actually, Game 3. Correction right there. They started back on Tuesday. So it will be Game 3. They took the first game and then lost yesterday 6-3. Mitch Garver getting called up. He was having a heck of a season, too. Right now with the Minnesota Twins, though, they're all overachieving. And what I mean by this is a good thing. But there are some guys consistently throughout their careers that have been, if you're a pitcher, 15-5, 3 to 2.5 ERAs, your Chris Sales, your Corey Klubers, your guys out there that you know are going to show up. You have got Jacob deGrom's, Clayton Kershaw's, Max Scherzer's. Then there's guys like Martin Perez, who's 7-1 pitching tonight against the Rays and has an ERA in the 2s, who has a career ERA close to 6 and was getting shelled out there in Texas. Now, he was a guy almost getting sent down to the minors, as he did a few times. You can't expect 7-1 at a 2.8 ERA the rest of the year, but he's doing a great job. Same thing with Jake Odorizzi. He was a guy with a 5 ERA throughout his career when he got shipped away from the Tampa Bay Rays. So it's good that they're coming through right now. Kyle Gibson, they're all pitching well. But these guys aren't your perennial lights-out dominant as you go to Hyunjin Ryu, to a guy like Clayton Kershaw, watching Walker Buehler throw 100 last night. They don't have that kind of stuff, and it's going to be intriguing to see, but there's not enough room to go around, especially when Nelson Cruz comes back, who's supposed to be their main guy in the middle. I mean, he served his 80 games for his PEDs, and now he's back out there on protein shakes and Popeyeing it out coming up here in a few minutes. But I think Mitch Garver is one of those guys that had a chance to get called up. He did his best. He's back down. He's rehabbing down here at Pensacola and did a great job catching last night.
Yeah, he did a great job. He's going to be hitting leadoff again tonight. So if you're heading out to tonight's game, get there a little early. Make sure you're there in time to see his first at bat. Yeah, because this is a guy you want to sit back and you want to watch a guy that's going to be playing in the major leagues. This is a guy that's
right.
doing that.
He was hitting in the 300s too when he now down at the Wahoos, and looking forward to continuing to showcase all the games right here. 6:35. We'll send it out to first pitch with Chris Garagiola right here for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. And tomorrow, be careful downtown. You got Wahoos baseball. Yep. You also got Fiesta parades going on. So if you're heading downtown tomorrow, remember, if you're just trying to go for a casual walk with Granny, that's what I do on a Friday, right? That's what first thing comes to mind. But if you're heading downtown, maybe getting an early start at Wild Greg's or World of Beer or doing something like that, just be careful. Just be careful with traffic because it's going to be crazy tomorrow. There's a couple roads. Well, most of the roads will be blocked off for the parade. Yeah. So before you complain, I'm just letting you know tomorrow between the Wahoos and between the parade, right around rush hour on a Friday, it's going to be insane. So just overall, be careful. I would avoid it if you can. If you can use things like 110 or other ways, go that way instead. It's because places like Main Street and Garden Street, it's not going to be too fun tomorrow at that time. Forbes' highest ticket price for a game. Do you want to take an O.J. Simpson at this one? At what is the highest ticket price for a 2019 ticket for college football right now going on?
There's a couple of different ones that come to mind. Obviously, Florida-Miami starting off the season. That's the celebration.
I'm sorry.
Lord, have mercy. Oh, my goodness. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to be right back after this. We need to get some EMTs in the studio. Oh, my goodness.
I just always wanted to do that real loud, and I knew that was the worst timing for your ears.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's continue there.
But I would actually probably say it's going to be a game involving Alabama.
I'm good.
Again, okay. A little more gracious.
No, hold on. No more goose noises on the show. No, it's not.
Oh.
But it is a team out of the SEC.
Okay. Texas A&M Clemson?
Maybe or maybe not Nashville. Very good at school.
Vanderbilt?
I said maybe or maybe not. It's not them. Okay.
I was going to say, where are we going with this?
Yeah, one guy got $1 billion for a seat, and it's made at every average price. No. Notre Dame and Georgia. Notre Dame at Georgia this year, right there. But they're going to be sitting there having a chance to feel that excitement between the hedges. It should be fun as they'll be in Sanford Stadium. And cheapest ticket price right now on Vivid Seats is $407. They're 42% of the money right now is over $1,000 for those tickets. Very intriguing. Think about it. Those are two teams that pretty much played in the college football playoff last year. And what I mean is the Georgia and Alabama game was the +1.
Yeah.
It was the game where two teams tie at the regular season in baseball. And it seems like this is ridiculous. At a 162-game season, I think what it's been like 4 straight years that a team is tied at the end of the year and had to play the 4 versus 5 to get in for that final spot. It's like every single year after 162, they tie just for the intrigue of one extra game. And I remember when Matt Holliday broke his nose sliding into home for the game when Colorado was playing Arizona. But in this one, I look at it as, this is going to be a good ticket, but these are two pretty much in your top 5 teams. Notre Dame, yes, you can say what you want how they played against Clemson, but I hope one thing that we learned, because we have plenty of Notre Dame fans, got good one downstairs. I can see his office right now with Jeff Wayne down there.
The door shut.
It's open right there.
It's open, so we better be careful.
I was going to say, if he's listening, shh.
Yeah, we got to be careful.
Go Irish. But the one thing about Notre Dame is they got beat by Clemson, got flat out smoked.
Yeah.
But for the people that were laughing, like Nelson from Simpsons, what they need to realize is so did everybody.
Alabama got smoked by Clemson.
So did everybody last year. When Sunshine Trevor Lawrence, after that first game, after he got hurt against Syracuse, they beat everybody by an average of 29 points a game. They beat Florida State by 50. They beat South Carolina by 35. They beat all these teams and dominated them. So for Notre Dame to go out there and lose a game, what was the final, 28-3 or whatever it was? It was
something like that.
It was. It was close. It was at halftime. It was pretty much a close game. It's 3-3 for most of the game. We're not going to make Notre Dame into a joke. They didn't have the roster of Clemson, and they didn't have the roster of Alabama, but nobody else in the country did besides 2.5 in Georgia. And say what you want about the game against Texas. They weren't, I'm not going to use the excuse because I fight against this excuse when UCF beat Auburn, so I'm not going to use the excuse, they didn't care to be there. But at the same time, Georgia, that wasn't as good as Georgia could play.
Right.
And I think we realize at this point that there's a good chance with Ian Book one more year, with Jake Fromm, Notre Dame and Georgia is going to be a very good football game, and you expect Georgia to win, but Notre Dame's defense is one of those kind of defenses that if you make one or two bad mistakes, they can beat you.
Yeah, and this very well could be another semifinal we see at the end of the year. These two teams match it up once again. So, and going back to the Texas-Georgia game, I think a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of people say that maybe Georgia didn't want to be there, and that may be so to a certain extent, but I think what happened was Texas punched them in the mouth early. They weren't expecting that from that Texas
team. It was
team,
too hard to get back into it.
It knocked them off their track, and they could not get back on. So I think it was more so Texas just coming out quick and fast rather than Georgia not wanting to be there, because this is a Kirby Smart-led football team. They're going to be ready for every game.
And Texas is a really good football team.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas is one of these kind of teams that look at what they did against Oklahoma. I mean, that's what I'm saying, who played in the college football playoff. Texas was a very good team. Texas is going to be in that realm. To me, there's that next wave of teams that are all sitting, that have been waiting. It's like that to get into the nightclub or something like that, and you're in the VIP line now. You got in there. You go to Vegas, you wait in 2.5-hour lines. Thank God I met a promoter. Somebody thought I looked like some old actor with spiky hair. A cartoon version, 3D. I was the 3D version of Johnny Bravo with black hair, so they let me in. But at the same time, Ryder from Paw Patrol was going to a couple clubs that night.
There you go.
With my dogs. I had a Rubble and all. So I'm going into a couple of these places, and you have the one line, then you have sort of the VIP line. It's like the express lane at Disney. The express lane still is a wait. You still have to wait. So you're like the 5 to 10 minute wait in the express line compared to the 2-hour line. And that's who I'm talking about with Texas, with Florida, with teams right now like Michigan. Penn State is in that group. Oregon's been in and out. Those kind of teams right now are all waiting to join the Alabamas, Clemsons, the Oklahomas. The Ohio States have been there consistently, and Georgia's of the world. And then Notre Dame is frequently hopping back and forth. They own their own network, so they just go in whatever line they want.
And that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, would you consider Ohio State still part of that top elite group, or have they fallen down to that fast pass line, if you will, because they haven't been there the past couple of seasons?
But they were in the Rose Bowl last year.
Right.
I mean, their consistency without Urban Meyer, you have to, and I'm not saying Ryan Day's he seems like a really good guy. For as many people as a lot of people around here want to hate Ohio State, because it's everything that the SEC's not, the Big Ten, the rivalry, and they're both great. Ohio State has been the Alabama of the Big Ten over the years. So when you look at that, I think most people want to hate him, but Ryan Day seems like a really good guy. I don't want to hate this guy. Urban Meyer was easy to hate for a lot of people down here.
Yeah,
very easy. Teaching leaders, he actually taught leadership skill classes, which is hilarious because, that's like, to me, O.J. Simpson teaching culinary arts at culinary cooking classes right there. The Cordon Bleu school out of USC, or having Willie Taggart teaching dating first impression classes? Or well, how about Hugh Freeze teaching classes on cell phone and how to interact on social media?
Dial and delete.
Exactly. Larry Nasser. No, that's who's sending these scripts? Looking at what's going on here for that game, though, I think Notre Dame and Georgia is going to be a good game. Where would you set the line right now? I'd say Georgia. If I had to set it today, I'd put Georgia at -8.
I was thinking a solid even touchdown, so I was going to say Georgia -7. Yeah, so about the same place.
I think they'd put it 8 just to I would do it that way because I think they would win that game by about 10.
Yeah.
But people see the touchdown and they get it. So I would say about 8. And those, when you see 8 lines, if you see anything, folks, by the way, at like 3.5, or you see a line like 7.5 or 8 in college football, it's a tip to probably be very wary of not using I get a touchdown with a very good team. You'll see 2 great teams. You'll see Auburn, LSU, something like that, and the spread will be Auburn -7.5 or LSU -7.5 if it's vice versa, wherever they are. And you go, that's going to be tough. But what it's really saying is that team's going to probably win in their mind by 10. They're giving you that hook to try to be in that way of not really sure. Be wary of those. Most of the time, the -7.5, -8 teams end up winning the game by more than that. I can't show you the lines. I mean, I can't show you all the numbers today, but I've just seen my fair share of those, and Vegas has a fair share of my money off that. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little with Cash It or Smash It. We're also going to get to more on the NBA Finals. It is game number 1 tonight. Is the era of Golden State over? I saw that today on ESPN, and why don't we just can it for a team that's made 5 straight NBA Finals? Why don't we pick on somebody else like the other everybody that hasn't made 5 straight NBA Finals like them? Why do we rag on the team that's the best? As a Patriot, as a UCF Knight, come on, man. Just get off our back. We're coming back for more right here on the Sports Drive.
Springtime is almost here. It's the perfect time to tackle the next job on your list. And AutoZone has the free services to help you do it. With the AutoZone Rewards program, members get more, like a $20 reward every time you spend $20 or more 5 times. And right now, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic or Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for $17.99 after a $15 AutoZone gift card by mail. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hey, this is Cole from Commander Air, and we're your local Daikin Comfort pros. Trust is hard to come by these days. At Commander Air, we have over 54 years of building and earning your trust. From each trained, certified technician to the state-of-the-art Daikin units we install, Daikin systems come with a trustworthy 12-year parts warranty. Commander Air has 3 generations of trust built on dependability, knowledge, and outstanding service. Come check out our new AC showroom at the intersection of Highway 29 and 9 Mile Road. Commander Air, your hometown heating and cooling specialist for 3 generations.
Pros know doing it right means buying in bulk to save time and save money too. Lowe's does it right by stocking job lot quantities of fence pickets, posts, and concrete every day. And at 5% savings when you buy in bulk. Save time by ordering ahead at lowesforpros.com. We offer job site delivery 7 days a week, so save even more time by having your order delivered. For the supplies you need to give your customers a fence they'll love. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. See ProDesk for details, U.S. only.
Florida, with its sunny weather and beautiful beaches, is a great place to walk and bike. Alert Today Florida encourages you to think beyond the driver's seat. Consider making a trip or 2 per week on foot or by bike. Active transportation like walking and biking can improve your health, reduce stress, and give you a few minutes to enjoy the sunshine. And here are a few tips to help you walk and bike safely. Remember, when walking, cross in the crosswalk and obey the pedestrian signals. And when riding, obey traffic laws and always ride in the direction of traffic, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
Don't attempt stunt portrayed in this commercial.
We're here at the City Zoo for an experiment. We have 2 groups of animals in holding pens sealed closed. One with JB Weld epoxy adhesive, the other with ordinary glue. The JB Weld door is holding strong, but uh-oh! The animals are pushing against the door held by ordinary household glue and it's breaking open. When strength really matters, don't glue it, JB Weld it. For metal, wood, plastic, and more. JB Weld, world's strongest bond. Available at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, and more.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is all sports all the time. Talk football year-round with local sports legend Coach K. From quarterbacking the Pensacola High Tigers to coaching the Buffalo Bills, Coach K's life has been all about the game, the teams, the players, and the coaches. Talk football with Coach K at noon on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Excited to be broadcasting, as always, 5 to 7 each and every night. You can watch the replay of the show right here from our studios at ESPN Pensacola 94.5, Cat Country 98.7, as well with News Radio 92.3 and WEBY 99.1. You can check them all out right here from what is cool. It used to be the old Daryl's building. It's a really cool building, by the way. It always has been.
Smell rolls every now and then.
Yes, that's right. What's the place, Landry's, that throws the rolls at you back in the day? Like, imagine the guy that really is just having a rough day and he has no clue about that. You know, like a long day at work and, maybe it's a family tradition to go to Landry's and all of a sudden that one guy has no clue. And he's like on his final edge, from that day, a long day of construction in the summer heat, and some guy just crushes him with a roll. Like, there's got to be a moment where it breaks out. It's like the ones that spook the guy that spooks the guy out of the trash can in a bear suit, and the guy comes over and he like pops him right in the face a couple times.
Or like when somebody makes a buzzer noise really loud in headphones. Yeah.
Or the one we show in Brilliante Observations a couple times on Blab TV with the guy that has a surprise party, doesn't know it's a surprise, and pulls out his Glock, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey!" And like his 3-year-old daughter runs to his aid, and he's like, "Ah ha ha! Like, what are you doing in my home, man? Almost just shot grandma right there." Like, it wasn't that cool. So you always got to be careful about that. Today I was in line, by the way, for a story that nobody cares about. I was getting some fast food, and I'm not the only one that's ever wondered this. But it was like an old grandmother in a Cadillac, and it was like a 40-minute wait. You know the ones that like, what is this person ordering?
Right, yeah.
And they got like 15 bags. This person got handed like 3 or 4 big bags. And then I look over, and then she drives off, and I'm just saying, like, what kind of party is Granny going to? You know what I'm saying? I'm usually looking for the dollar menu and getting 3 or 4 things off of it. And this lady had 3 or 4 bags, and she had to be in her 70s, 80s. But, like, what kind of hopping party is getting that much for the whole entire workforce from this one lady?
Bingo.
Bingo. There we go. I was going to say maybe shuffleboard championships in Pensacola tonight. I don't know. But that was a lot of food going on right there and a lot of stomach aches. That not going to name any names, but if they went with fire sauce, that could have been a lot of belly aches for the senior home there. Looking right now at what's going on here with the NBA Finals. Everybody wants to say, oh, is this the time? It's over. DeMarcus Boogie Cousins from Mobile. He's played down here in Pensacola. And Reggie Evans softball, charity softball classic.
Right, yeah.
Reggie, biggest smile in town. Just one of the nicest guys ever. He's got a great story, too. This is not one of these kind of stories where he just was the Big Ten all-time leading rebounder, played almost 20 seasons in the NBA, did everything by just going out there and I think I'm highballing that. I don't think he played 20. I think he's not Dikembe Mutombo, but I think he played about 12, 13 years in the NBA at least with a number of teams, had the record for a number of years for most rebounds in a game from a player for the Brooklyn Nets, 26 in a game. But when it came down to Reggie Evans' career, he didn't come from the easy. He went to Coffeyville Community College.
Right, yeah.
He worked his way in, got a shot with the Iowa Hawkeyes, went on to be the Big Ten all-time leading rebounder, and went on to have a pretty good career. Couldn't really make a 15-foot jumper consistently, but was a hustler. Did everything. Would dive into the front row to grab a ball and knock over that lady's popcorn. You know, he was that kind of guy that did not mind sacrificing anything in order to make the plays. And he told me some stories on air one time. We were at the old ESPN. That he was, his family was in trouble, and his cousin was selling drugs, and it was a situation where there was a sting operation. And he said, "Go, get out of town, man. Go, get out of here." And Reggie had an opportunity to make a right decision from that time forward, and end up having a really, really good time and a good career in sports. Just got a text. Okay, we'll make sure of that. Just got a text from Pat Dye to see if he could be on air right now, and he goes, "Sorry, man, give me 5 more minutes. I'm on Feinbaum." So Pat Dye is going to be coming on here coming up at 6 o'clock, I guess. But he's currently talking to Feinbaum, and we might need to flip that over. Feinbaum's still on for another about 15 minutes there. Better make it 6, he said. Okay,
yeah.
So we might need to check that out. But Pat Dye currently on Feinbaum, and will be joining us in about 15 minutes from now. You can catch Paul Feinbaum on our network from 2 to 5. A lot of things happening in this segment. As you know, this show sometimes goes down that path of choose your own adventure. Let's get back to the NBA Finals. When it comes down to DeMarcus Cousins playing or not, that's not the key. The key is more about is Steph Curry going to be on the court. What I've realized is in a game of shooting, yes, Kevin Durant is one of the best players and does make the team better. Are you better without Kevin Durant? No, they're not better, you moron, without Kevin Durant. Why would any team be better without Kevin Durant, a guy that can jack it up from anywhere, maybe the best offensive player in the history of the NBA? And when you say that, people, whoa, calm down, bro. Calm down when you say those kind of things. No, he might be the best player offensively in NBA history. Start thinking about it. He's led the NBA in scoring almost every year, except for James Harden having to be the man. All these things he is. I'm seeing him right there.
We use a better picture of him.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, we do. Yeah, he's on right now. That's pretty funny. When it comes down to is he going to have enough energy? He might get ticked. Last time he was on Feinbaum, he got pretty ticked. So I hope he has the energy. I'm not going to say anything wrong. Don't just Coach, what's happening? Roll Tide, man. Let's not go down that path right here. But yeah, there he is. Looking at the NBA Finals, though, Steph Curry versus Kawhi Leonard. Who is more important to their team in this series?
Whoa, I'm going to say Kawhi Leonard because without Kawhi Leonard, are the Toronto Raptors where they're at?
But here's the deal with that. It's clear that Toronto has a bunch of role players. And
right.
Drake giving his coach massages on the sidelines. But think about it this way. Could the role players for Golden State sustain a championship without Steph Curry going lights out for 9 threes and getting them back into games? Because think about the games they won against Portland. They won 2 very close games. There would have been 2-2. Steph Curry in those games had a combined 19 threes.
Right.
So without him on the court, those 2 3-point wins would have been losses.
Well, I think here's the thing that I was thinking of, why I kind of went there was because I'm thinking if they don't have Steph Curry, they still have KD, who would be healthy in that scenario with no Steph Curry. So that's kind of where I went with Kawhi Leonard.
But right now we got to go with KD's not in.
Okay.
He's not playing.
Then definitely Steph Curry. Yeah. If KD's not there as a backup, then you've got to go with Steph Curry.
That's what I think, that there's a lot of guys that on Toronto that have been stars that now have taken a back page role. Meaning Marc Gasol at one time averaged 20 points a game in Memphis and was Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
He's put out a couple LBs. He's better of the Gasol brothers now. His other brother's ancient, looking like a big bird. But at the same time, Marc Gasol at one time was an all-star. You have Serge Ibaka at one time. Sadly, it was for the Magic, but he was their leading scorer, 18, 19 a game. You have guys that you've seen like Danny Green, who's knows his role as a defensive grinder for all those Spurs teams. And then you have a guy like Kyle Lowry, who, before Kawhi Leonard got there, was sort of the catalyst on offense with DeMar DeRozan. It was sort of their team. Before it was Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan's team. Now it's clearly Kawhi Leonard's team. I mean, it's not even close. So I think that Toronto has enough guys that would know how to step up if Kawhi was out. They did. Kawhi was hurt a lot of this season. Steph Curry, when he's out, they don't have that. I mean, Klay Thompson can shoot, but Klay Thompson isn't used to being a number one.
Right.
He can be on a team. He's going to get paid like Harrison Barnes did, but he's not used to it. Draymond Green needs to be open to make his shots. He doesn't create his own offense, and he's going to play good defense. I don't know if there'd be enough offense to go around if Steph Curry was not there, and Kevin Durant, obviously, we're talking about not being healthy right now. If Kevin Durant's there, you insert him in, and they're fine. So I don't know. At this point, I think it's going to be on the surface, I saw that question today, and on the surface, it makes obvious sense it'd be Kawhi Leonard.
Right,
yeah. Kawhi's been the one guy where Golden State's a team winning championships.
When you break it down, though.
But when you break it down, I think it's a very intriguing question. And DeMarcus Cousins coming back, how healthy is he? How many minutes would he play? He really is the kind of guy that is so used to wanting the ball and facilitating it. And right now, Golden State has a good thing going. They know their role. In basketball, that is so hard. That is why it took a Zen master and Phil Jackson to step in and get Shaq and Kobe to know their role. When you have a bunch of egos and a bunch of guys like Carmelo Anthony didn't work out in Houston. Wasn't that think about it. Houston would love to have another offensive weapon like Carmelo Anthony if Carmelo Anthony could play the role of P.J. Tucker, sit in the corner and shoot a three. P.J. Tucker knows his role. Trevor Ariza knew his role. Carmelo wanted his plays. He wanted to jab around and take jumpers when James Harden's like, bro, that's my game. Stop. And that's the thing is DeMarcus Cousins is going to want his touches. He's going to want to make shots. He's going to do that. I don't know if DeMarcus Cousins is going to add too much overall, even though he's a good athlete, to benefiting them right now compared to KD. Obviously makes the team better when he's healthy, as good as he is. Toronto is a 1-point favorite. I do think tonight Toronto takes game one. And Kawhi Leonard, I saw a prop bet, and we're just having fun here, Vegas. Entertainment purposes only, obviously, or go to Biloxi. But 29.5 points is what it's set at. 29.5 points. I would definitely, unless he gets hurt, take Kawhi Leonard in the over.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to take the under in that, you might as well guarantee to put a bunch of money on Golden State too. Because if Kawhi Leonard doesn't score more than 29 points, he's averaging 33, 34 in the playoffs against good defensive teams, guarded by guys like Giannis and guys like that. No. If he doesn't go for more than 29 points, Toronto is not. They don't have a shot in this game right now with him on the court. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I take that. I think Toronto takes game one. I don't think they take the series. I think Golden State ends up taking it in 6 or 7. But I do like Toronto tonight to win, and I like a situation where Kawhi gets about 37, 38.
Yeah, I think in the last, this would be their fourth NBA title in the last 5 years if they were to win this one. I think this is going to be one of the toughest ones for them to win because Toronto is going to play them really well. It's going to be really close. But like I said yesterday, Toronto is going to have to win games in Golden State to win this series. That's a tough task for that team to do, for any team to do, really. So I agree with you. It's going to be 6 games, maybe even go the full length 7-game series. But at the end, Golden State's got to come out with this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the better team.
And when it comes to NBA, because this doesn't clarify everything in life, and you make your own choice on what I mean by this, but the first time is always very exciting.
Right.
And what I mean is you got that chance right there where Toronto, they've made it clear, first team in Toronto history. They're the only one since Vancouver left. But it's huge. This is the first time Toronto has hosted an NBA Finals and has this shot. So it's going to be rocking tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It is going to be absurdly rocking in the city of Toronto. They're going to be cracking open the Molson, having some fun. And you got to look at it as if they can't win this one, it is over because this is all the emotion in the world. Kawhi's the kind of guy that does feed off the energy of the emotion, and I think they get it done without Kevin Durant in this one. But it's going to be close. Golden State's too good of a team to get smoked, in my opinion. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more college football. Pat Dye right now finishing up with Paul Feinbaum on the SEC network, so we're going to go ahead and try to get him rolling at 6 o'clock and have some fun. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945 and ESPNpensacola.com.
Pensacola is loaded with famous athletes, and when it comes to seeing a chiropractor for their sports injuries, there is one team they trust, Doctors Edwin Roberts. A family tradition for 3 generations, Doctors Edwin Roberts Chiropractic, next to Legendary Fitness on Mobile Highway, has helped champion athletes like Emmett Smith and Trent Richardson. Doctors Roberts specialize in relieving auto accident pain to physicals for the student athlete. The best treatment for sports injuries is prevention. Call 912-4155 for a free consultation and change your life forever.
O'Reilly.
Have everything you need for your next oil change? Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and save on 5 parts of Castrol GTX conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for $24.99. Plus, earn triple O Rewards points. Protect your engine with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Welcome to Sherwin-Williams.
So I can get 30% off paint?
Yes.
And 30% off stains?
You bet.
Party time!
Yeah!
Oh, party time, the color. I'd like 3 gallons in party time, please.
You got it. Ask Sherwin-Williams May 17th through June 3rd and save 30% on paint and stains with sale prices starting at $26.94. Only at your local Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass.
A guy like Kyler Murray, great athlete, yes. We talked about it before, great athlete, got a lot of talent. Because of his size, I just see that being something that hurts him inside the NFL.
Then Davis Allens.
It's so much harder to be successful in the NFL, but is it beneficial for you in the long run?
Every Saturday morning on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Thanks to Mary downstairs. Give me this nice gold-looking Wingo mug right here.
Yeah.
I've got coffee in it. No, I just want. No, it really is.
It doesn't smell like coffee.
Kahlua coffee brand. You know those brands? I hate when the stores try to throw in those clear alcoholic beverages brands into things that they don't have anything. Like, I got completely conned. I thought I was going to have a good night with Jack Daniel's Buffalo Shrimp.
Yeah, those clear.
Say. Man, I thought I was going to be like, woo, partying on the town, riding the bull at a Wild Greg's, and I had like 3 Jack Daniel's Buffalo Shrimp meals. Nothing. Just a stomach ache. I was so upset. Or
whole tray of the Jack Daniel's barbecue. Yeah.
Or like those Jose Cuervo, those Jose Cuervo eggs Benedict that everybody gets, right? Oh wait, that's just okay. I'm getting the word. I'm just taking a shot of Jose, and then okay, never mind. But looking at the Jordan Spieth is off to another great start right here. The Memorial today at Jack's tournament. Tiger Woods is playing in it, and Jordan Spieth and Ryan Moore were tied, and Ryan Moore was able to birdie the final hole to go to 7 under. He's got a 1-shot lead. Taking a look at some of the other guys at the top of the lead. Tiger Woods coming back out there. He is tied with Max Homa out there. So Homa Woods will be in the pair tomorrow at they're tied for 23rd at 2 under par. So I'm telling you what, that's going to be a good pairing. Tiger's been playing great. Homa's been stroking it. So I think it's going to be fun to see them out in the course tomorrow out there at the Memorial.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of fun. There's two quality golfers there that'll be paired up with each other, and like you said, just be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun right there.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Playing with Gary Woodland. Looking right now at Jordan Spieth, he does have a pretty good route going, but it clearly has been Brooks Koepka. But it's like Brooks Koepka, all he does is zone in and dominate the majors. That's what he does.
Right.
I mean, that's his game, and why not? That's like saying all I do is do really well at closing billion-dollar homes as a real estate agent. You'd be like, sir, that doesn't exist. Be like, that's what you thought. But, that's you don't know my life. Those super cruises, there's not a billion-dollar home. But when it comes down to it, if you're the guy that is the guy that closes those $1.2 million condos, or the guy that sells a bunch of $7,500, $100,000 homes that have a bunch of black mold in them, I'm going to go with the one guy that knows how to close the 1.2. And Brooks Koepka is that guy. He just comes in and he knows how to close. He's the Mariano Rivera of golf right now.
I was going to say John Smoltz, but yeah, that one too.
There you go. He just knows that. Or John Sally sat at the end of the bench, got a bunch of rings. But,
there you go.
The spider. I'm telling you what, Tiger Woods said, I'm definitely feeling a lot better. He's out there, and he's at 2 under par right now. So we'll keep you posted on what's happening in the Memorial Tournament as well with some of the biggest names in golf looking to play. This isn't a major, but they usually do draw some of the best names in golf. And Bo Hostler, sorry about that. I got to bring you up. You shot 11 over today. Looking at some of the other guys that are out in the course, keeping you posted on Phil Mickelson is at 2 under par. Not a bad round overall. Ricky Fowler shooting 3 under par. And not seeing Bubba out there. I think Bubba is not playing this week. So we'll make sure to scrolling through here. Boo Weekley is out there. Good to see Boo. I know he dealt with some situations. He fought. He battled. It's now, I believe it's in remission, but he battled cancer. And Boo Weekley at 2 over par right there from Milton. Great to see. He's one of our favorites, and anytime Boo Weekley's on the course, we'll be rooting him on. But no, Bubba's not playing this week. Boo Weekley, though, another one of our local golfers from Milton, a true Milton golfer guy that will wear your camo. He actually, at one point, I think he brought his shotgun and was trying to shoot a couple of the geese and squirrels out on the course. Like, Boo Weekley's got a 7-iron. It's about 178 yards out. Oh, wait, raccoon! Like, all of a sudden, like, he's the kind of guy, he'll go out there, finish a round, and catch you 3 mullet on the 18th green and right there on the pond. That's what he does. I played in this tournament at Hidden Creek right there in Navarre. He is a classic guy. Hands out. Larry the Cable Guy and him are good friends. That just is like a match made in heaven right there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But Boo has always been a classic golfer, and good to see him back out on the golf course after taking a little bit of time off. Coming up here, we're going to talk with Pat Dye, legendary Auburn coach, on the show. Some of the other things going on right now. A typical Coors Field game going on. They're tapping the Rockies out there big time today between Colorado and Arizona. You want to take a shot at what the score is right now?
Well, earlier it was 10-10. I'm going to say 13-11 right now.
Well, you should have just stuck to your guns right there.
Okay.
It's 10-10 right now.
Okay, it's still
They
tied.
both combined for just a measly 33 hits in this one at Coors Field. Classic pitching duel right there. You know what, though? To me, it's like baseball at Coors Field is such the aura of being there because it does fly farther. They started using a humidor to get the ball traveling less. But as John Lesta would say, all the balls are juiced a little higher right now. But there's something about the feeling of people getting a little more hungry.
Right.
It's like guys like to go out. If you like to party at your favorite place, you have one place in town, a World of Beer, Blend Lounge, you love to go to somewhere, but then it's ladies' night. And you're like, oh, I'm going to put on my good outfit, my good cologne, not that stuff that I spray on the rack over there at Dillard's. Like, man, this is the good stuff right here. Dillard's does have good cologne, by the way. I don't want to diss them. I've gotten some good stuff there. But the Dollar Tree store, that the knockoff brands, the ones that are
go get me some steak and
instead
cologne.
of Ralph Lauren, it's Ralph Louis, and all of a sudden it's got a picture of like Mario and Luigi on it, and you spray like 2, and then people are like, oh my God, is that rat poison? But yeah, I'm telling you, 10-10, the feeling of being there, the excitement of Coors Field makes it a little bit higher. That's all the time we have for the first hour right there. We appreciate you guys watching and listening into the Sports Drive. We're coming back for more. Pat Dye, Auburn Tiger coach, right here on the Sports Drive.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Taking a look around Major League Baseball, the Pirates beat the Reds 7-2. The Yankees blanked the Padres 7-0. And the Angels win a wild one 12-7 over the Oakland Athletics, with Detroit beating the Orioles 4-2 and Tampa Bay coming back to beat the Blue Rays 4-3. For the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, the Blues tie the series up at 1 game apiece in a thriller, winning 3-2 in overtime in Boston. And coming up later on tonight in the NBA, Game 1 of the NBA Finals gets underway. The Golden State Warriors look to win their 4th NBA championship in the last 5 years, but the Toronto Raptors are standing in their way. For your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, unfortunately, they do come up short tonight against the Mississippi Braves. Don't worry, they'll be back at it again later on tonight. 6:35 is when first pitch is expected. Chris Gargiolo will have the call right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update.
Looking, throws up the middle. At the 40, Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 29, 20. Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Noah Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WNBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the Kendricks tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball, it's that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. And Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back, Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Now joining us, he's had a busy day because I know just a few minutes ago he just got done with the Paul Feinbaum Show and kind enough to join us here in Pensacola and across the 3 states here on television. Coach Pat Dye, legendary Auburn coach. Coach, you've been a busy man and we always appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. I hope we don't have the problem with telephones as I had with Paul. Man, my cell phone went down and I got on my landline, and my landline, something happened. Well, they hung up. I think they hung up there, and then I couldn't get them back. And finally, the worst part of the whole thing was he said, "Give me your landline number, and I'll just call you." And I couldn't remember my landline number because I don't ever use this telephone. And I knew the first 3 numbers, but the last 4 wouldn't come to me. And I said, it seemed like it might have been 1700. And so I gave it to him, and it was the right number. And we finally had our visit on the phone.
Well, good. No, I know I was. We were watching in studio while we were doing the show down here, and it looked like a pretty good interview. And one of the things I know during the SEC meetings they're talking about this year is talking about they brought up the 9-game schedule. Would you be for or against that? And already, what is a brutal SEC?
I'd be for it. I would be for it. And I think we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
I'd be for going to 9 games and for us going to the East. And Missouri staying in the West. And we could do that if we go to 9 games. And I mean, there'd be no excuses. It's ridiculous for Missouri to have to go to Columbia, South Carolina, to play a home game, play a away game, or to Knoxville, Tennessee, or to Georgia, or Columbia, South Carolina. It's crazy. And if they go to 9 games, we could play 9 games, because then we wouldn't lose Georgia or anybody. And we would see our natural rivalries from until all of this started was Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, and then Mississippi State and Mississippi. Well, they're not as big of rivalries now as the ones mentioned first, but they could the conference would be a lot more flexible. I think it would give a tremendous boost to season ticket sales, and I know the fans would be for it.
Well,
and you'd have to withstand the fans, and I mean your criticism when you didn't win 8 or 9 ball games, 10 or whatever you're supposed to win, and but. Still, I'd like to go to 9, and just like I said, and I'd like for Auburn to be in the East, and then we could still play Alabama. Play one cross conference game.
Well, I think that's fair. I'm still here. No, I was taking that in, and I think I think people are so used to tradition sometimes, or not tradition, but things that have been going on for so.
I've been talking about that tradition.
I know you have.
with about the Florida Georgia game, and that's a home game for Florida. And you can cut it any way you want to cut it. It's a home game for Florida, because when you get out of your car down there, you got a Florida guy wearing a Gator hat and a girl wearing a Gator T-shirt, working the concession stands and parking cars and ushers and everybody in and around the stadium is a Gator fan. And same thing was, that's the same way it was when we played Alabama in Birmingham. And we only played 1 game a year up there. And Alabama played all their big games in Birmingham. And the reason they played their big games in Birmingham was because they didn't have 60,000 seats in Tuscaloosa, and they had 72,000 seats in Birmingham. Plus, Coach Bryant was smart. When he played in Birmingham, didn't but about 5,000 students go, and in Tuscaloosa they'd sell 13,000 student seats. Well, he'd take them student seats that he was selling in Tuscaloosa and bring them to Birmingham, and, that was another 10,000 folks that he was making money off of.
And I think, Coach, one of the things when you look at that game between Florida and Georgia you talked about, it might be in Florida, but heck, everybody's had so many adult beverages by the time they get in that stadium, they don't even know who they're rooting for.
Well, you can't use that as an excuse.
I've been to 4 or 5, but yeah.
Did you by chance hear what I asked Paul?
I
said, how many? And I'll ask you, how many seats how many people will the Florida Stadium hold?
Florida,
over 100,000, isn't it?
I think they added. I think it's close to. I think it's in the high 90s since they added that top layer to Ben Hill.
I think it's right at 100. Mm-hmm. Georgia's got 100,000 seats.
Yep, at Stanford.
You know how many seats in Jacksonville?
Was it like 78?
60.
Yeah.
And so they split the tickets. There's Georgia people and Florida people, both, that buy season tickets. They can't get a ticket to the Georgia-Florida game because they split the seats. And what about the student body? I'm sure the students probably allot them, 3,000 or 4,000 tickets. Well, at home, when they play, if Georgia goes to Gainesville and play, they can have 16, 18, 20,000 students in the student section. Same thing at Georgia.
No, I think yeah.
There's Florida people and Georgia people, fans. They go to games in Athens every year. Go to Gainesville every year. But they never seen a Georgia-Florida game unless they watch it on television because they can't get a ticket.
Speaking with legendary Auburn coach Pat Dye here. Coach, I want to bring this up. It is something where we all mourn the loss this week of Rod Bramlett, but you had a chance to be around when he was the announcer. Talk about that tough situation.
Well, it's been a grieving week for us, all of us here at Auburn, and his immediate family, but his Auburn family. And he probably didn't think about it, might not even realize himself, but he held a position as our announcer of football, basketball, and baseball that nobody else had. He was the connection to our fan base around the world. Because now you can, with the technology we got, now you can be in Paris and listen to the Auburn, Georgia game or the Auburn, Alabama game. And just a tremendous loss.
It is, and so sad.
And he'll be hard to replace. But I was talking to somebody that, well, it was Mike Hubbard that hired him. And I've talked to Auburn people. You know, before Rod, there was Jim Fife, and he was a great announcer. And then before Jim, there was Gary Sanders, and he was a great announcer. And whoever I was talking to, he said, I thought the best one of all of them was Buddy Rutledge. When he would have been back, you know, in the 60s, 70s, 50s. And but those announcers, you know, you live and die with them. And the good ones, they bring the game right in your house with you. And then when you hurt, they hurt. And you can tell it. You can tell it over the air. And, I mean, it's, of course, you know, the accident itself was a tragic thing. And you just never know. And,
yeah. On that,
who in the world would ever thought that would happen to Rod Bramlett and his wife?
Unbelievable. And I know you also are at the age, he was a little bit older, about 5-6 years older than you, Coach, but Bart Starr passing away as well, the University of Alabama and Hall of Fame quarterback.
You know, Bart Starr was as good a human being as you could be. I mean, he wasn't on you know, his greatness really wasn't the fact that he was an all-pro quarterback and won 2 Super Bowls. His greatness to me was the kind of man he was. But now that's a different set of circumstances because Bart was, 88 years old?
I think 85, 86 years old. He had lived a good life. Yeah. It is completely. I understand. Anytime I'm my grandma right now is got late stage dementia and probably doesn't have too much longer, but she's 91 and's had an incredible life and achieved so much. And you know, I just lost a good friend, one of my best friends, and it's even though you know they both are going to hurt. One of them, it just God took him way too early, and for Rod and his family, man, that is so tough.
That's right. You know, it's you know, when you get killed suddenly like that, and it doubles the emotional impact of here today and gone tomorrow. You know, if you go through a long sickness and terminally ill or something, or you, like I am, 80 years old, you got to die some week, you know. And when you get to be 80, I mean, I'm not naive enough to think I'm going to live to be 100. I know that my time's coming. I'm just thankful for the health that I've got right now, to where I can work every day and still got, I don't know how much in my mind, but I got enough of it to carry on the conversation. Sometimes it might be a little strange, or you may not understand it, but I know what I'm trying to say. And but it's it's just the world we live in. I mean, and sometimes death is not a bad thing. You know, if you don't, I don't want to lay up in the bed and not know who I am, and have somebody waiting on me 24 hours a day. Let me go on and die and put me in the ground. You know, I don't care one thing about being my death being prolonged when it's inevitable that it's coming. Now, I don't believe in suicide or whatever there is when they kill them. But they can quit feeding you and you can die. You'll die in 2 or 3 days or 3 or 4 days. It might take a week, but you'll get on out of here. And they got medicine now that you don't realize you're not in any pain. But I don't want to be a burden to somebody else. You know, I don't want somebody having to worry about me and taking care of me, and I'm talking about the family members and so forth.
I understand, and it's been a tough loss for the whole SEC. But I know this is the first time I've spoken to someone directly, and not only directly, but somebody that is really at the foreground of the Auburn family and yourself. And I know it's been a tough week. And all I know from seeing him at a couple SEC media days throughout covering over the last 8-9 years in the South. But all I have to say is our thoughts are with everybody up there in the Plains, because Coach, that's just a tough situation, and he was really, truly one of the good guys.
I appreciated it, and he was more than just a great announcer. Now he was an outstanding young man, and he's 53 years old, but that's still young to me. And his family and 2 children, and you know they'll have to live the rest of their life with their mom and daddy gone. And the kid that was driving the other car, his life is great too.
It is,
you know,
and it's just very sad. Coach, we look right now at one of the highest paid ticket, according to Forbes magazine this year, for any game is Notre Dame at Georgia. Does that sound about right to you?
Well, they're going to take Georgia's going to take advantage of Notre Dame coming, and they'll sell them. All they're doing is taking money out of the scalper's pocket. So I don't know how they get them, where they get them from, but there'll be scalping tickets outside the gates.
That's a hot commodity. That's going to be a hot ticket, and 2 teams that have been very successful over the past 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
And it should be a good game.
Anytime you play Notre Dame, that's one of the biggest names in college football, and got great tradition. They're probably not playing up to Notre Dame's standards right now, but they're still Notre Dame.
They are Notre Dame. What do you think about Notre Dame, in your opinion? And what do you, about being an independent? And it just so happens they've been it for a while, but what do you think of the independent in college football?
Well, it's just like, Bobby Dodd got out of the Southeastern Conference because they were going to a bowl game every year, and he didn't want to split the payoff with the rest of the conference. So he got Georgia Tech out of the conference. Now, there ain't no telling what this cost them, getting out of the Southeastern Conference. And, a lot of times you look at things and they look this way, but there's got underlying factors in there that you don't see that come back and bite you sometime, and that was one of them. But Notre Dame is, they want to, they got to have a conference for the basketball team. And I guess that's the ACC. But they don't want to have to play Wake Forest and Duke and, they don't want that schedule to be like that, Florida State, Miami. They want to play Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. Now, they jump down in the Southeastern Conference, and they ain't going to like that too much.
No, and I think a lot of these teams right now, there's two ways to look at it when it comes to some of these neutral site games. Is for a non-SEC team, if you go out and you beat a team early on in the season, you get that points, earning those points to go back, and if you can just run the table in your weaker conference, like let's say for last year when Washington played Auburn. Auburn ended up pulling out the victory, but if Washington gets that win, they can go out there and they can beat a weaker Pac-12 and say, hey, look, we beat one of your better teams in the SEC, and use that as an advantage tool. So for some teams outside of the SEC, because the SEC, if they lose to a team, it's, hey, look, our other conferences beat you. It makes your schedule weaker, when that's not the truth. Where a school like the Pac-12 or a Big 12 can win that game if they do, and use that as leverage for the rest of the year.
I think I heard a little bit of the conversation. I didn't even know exactly who they were talking about or what, but about the athletic director down there at Central Florida. Well, if he thinks he's going to jump in and just fill up the schedule with a home-and-home schedule against the Power 5 schools, he's crazy. They're not going to do it. And if he wants to be recognized as a Power 5 school, he needs to play a Power 5 schedule. And those teams are getting better every year. It's not the fact that he can't play against those teams and beat them, but you got to play them first. And they're not going to schedule home and home with them. He's going to have to play 2 for 1, and be happy to get it. He might could work out a deal where they play home and home in a neutral site. That wouldn't be bad if he could get them to do that. But he's between a rock and a hard place, because all the Power 5 schools, those athletic directors and coaches ain't stupid. They know they got a good football team at UCLA. Why schedule them? They don't need to schedule them.
No, you're exactly right. Bob Stoops said that one year when they were talking about Boise State. He said, why in the heck will we play Boise State when if we win, we don't get anything out of it, because we still have to play against Texas and Baylor and Oklahoma State. And he goes, if they win, though, they get all the bragging rights in the world, and we just get to play a tough, very tough team where we can go ahead and play a team like a Western Chattanooga team, and even though that doesn't even exist as a college, I don't think, but you can win that, and then you just go ahead and you go to a title game. So it's a lose-lose for those schools. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's very tough, and that's why it's sort of as a UCF fan, it's tough, because everybody says go play somebody, but Coach, it's not that simple.
Well, the only way you're going to get it is you're going to have to
play in their home.
Play in their home, and take modest payoffs and so forth. I mean, it'll cost you some money to get it, but once you get it and get in the Power 5, then it starts paying dividends, because Central Florida's got got everything you need to be a Power 5 football team, and all sports, not just football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're good in everything, and. But if the guy's hard-headed enough, you're going to be sitting right there where you are 10 years from now.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate the time. I know if you had a busy day talking to Paul Feinbaum. We didn't get to talk to you from the beautiful white sand beaches of Sandestin, but we are happy to be in Pensacola. You know how beautiful a city it is, and we're enjoying the summer down here. I hope one of these days we can still get that mullet down in Perdido. It's on my bucket list. So
that'd be great.
Looking forward to it. Coach, appreciate your time as always.
All right.
Thank you. Coach Pat Dye. If I don't get mullet with Pat Dye in my lifetime, and then I guess Jordan will get seafood somewhere else. We're coming back for more right here on the Sports Drive.
Brad. I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date for an FSU game.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tee time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa, voted best day spa 8 years in a row.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
At Denny's, you can get 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, 3 pieces of sausage, and 3 pieces of bacon, all for $5.99. Now, before you say, wow, that's a lot of meat, know that this dish has its fan base right there in the name. This is for people who really love meat, the super meat lovers. So if you're a super meat lover who likes the idea of getting all the meat you love at a super low price, then the $5.99 Meat Lovers Slam is for you. See you at Denny's. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only, no substitutions.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
MWR welcomes Hunter Hayes to NAS Pensacola for the Air Force Reserve's Tour for the Troops, Friday, June 21st. Also appearing Brandon Ratcliffe and Jesse Ritter opening the show. Gates at 5:30. The show starts at 6:30 on the Portside Lawn at NAS Pensacola. Bring your lawn chairs and blankets. The show is free, but tickets are required. For ticket information, go to catcountry987.com. Presented by Kia Autosport, Pin Air Federal Credit Union, and MWR.
Make new memories this summer at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Owning a Harley is easier and more affordable than ever because at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola, they say WTF. That's right, they are willing to finance. Bad credit, no problem. The Harley-Davidson experts will get you financed. Discover your inner child again with the freedom that owning a Harley brings. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Thanks again for tuning in to us today. It is NBA Game 2 right there, or NBA Game 1. Yeah, we're just flipping right to it. NBA Game 1 of the finals tonight. Golden State and you could tell it's the end of the show. Golden State and Toronto.
And what is, you got that over your back
there
shoulder.
We go. The
Antonio.
Spurs. I see it right there with freaking us out over here, the Coyote. I'm Wiley, by the way. I'm going to go with I got Toronto.
You know, I'm going to go with Toronto at home as well. I think they get a couple at home, but they're not going to be able to win at Golden State. That's going to be the difference in this series.
Kawhi not. And also Blue Wahoos getting ready to go. So we'll send it out to Chris Garagiola in just a few seconds from now as the Pensacola Blue Wahoos will take on the Mississippi Braves in Game 3 of their 5-game series. Best record right here in the Southern League. Looking forward to getting a win. Mitch Garver will lead off tonight, and that's going to be pretty exciting. Thanks for tuning in. Jordan, have a great rest of your night.
You too, man.
All right. For all of us here on Blab TV, ESPN Pensacola 94.5, I'm Chad Brilliante. For Jordan Glass, have a great rest of your night. Thanks for watching and listening to the Sports Drive, and God bless.